All right. Let's do another one. Anybody else have another one they want to look at? Look at number 5 here. And let's read this together, everybody, in unison. Ha de Iesus epen auto ti me leges agathan udes agathas e me heis ha theos. All right. So, de is my postpositive conjunction. And now, but, Jesus epen auto. What's epen mean? Said. Good. Is this a past time verb? Yes. Is it the imperfect or the second aorist? Second aorist? We'll know that if we know the lexical form. What's the lexical form of apen? It is Lego. That's right. What's the present stem then of Lego? Leg. Okay, leg. And I have ape over here. Those are not related to each other. So this can't be the imperfect, can it? It's got to be the second aorist. Active indicative, and this is third singular. Okay, so because subject is Jesus. Jesus said to him, Ti me leges agathan. What's T? Who, which, what? There's one more meaning to T. Why? And that's the meaning here. It's direct interrogative. Notice my question mark here. Why you say to me, or why do you say me good? Here, the meaning of leges is tantamount to call. All right? So why do you call me good? Udes agathos, no one good. Me Tarzan, you Jane, and no one good. Okay? I have to add the copula here, don't I? No one is good. Me, except. Me can be translated as except or but. Haste. Not ace, but haste. That's one. Haste me a hen. No one is good except one, and we have an apposition, apparently, ha theos, God. Apposition is when we have two nouns side by side. They refer to the same entity. They're trying to fill the same function slot. All right? So there is no one good except one, namely, ha theos, God. Now, I want to come back over here. Did we do the little exercise to remember the stems for the present stem and the aorist stem here? We haven't done that? Okay. I'm going to hit pause. So we just did ape, leg, leg. All right. So any other questions here?
Can you actually explain the meaning of 5? Because I've heard it explained before, but I'm not.
So number 5? Yeah. So the
Before you explain it, wouldn't that meaning imply, or that statement imply that he is also God since he is good?
well, yeah, that's what I think. I think the idea here is that he is basically challenging the person asking the question to really think long and hard about what he's saying, because the implication here is that God alone is good, and you are calling me good, and so you need to listen to what I say. Right? All right. Let's see. Are there any other ones?
What about 3?
Number 3 for we did that one already, didn't we? Number 4. Okay. Yep. Let's look there. So we have didaskale here, which is the word didaskalos. You see the epsilon here? What is that, Peter? Yeah, that's the vocative case ending. So that means didaskale is what? Yeah, O teacher, or teacher, I'm talking to you. Names the addressee. So teacher, edamen tina ento anamatisu ekbalanta daimania. What's edamen? God is angry that you don't know. You didn't hear that thunder there. Edamen. What's that? It looks like if is part of it, that doesn't it? This is actually Adon. Here, this is kind of interesting. I told you that there is an ancient letter called digamma that has fallen out of Greek in the Koine period, and it was a W sound, wid, which is what the root for this is, and we get video from it in English. It means to see. So we saw tina, someone, in your name, ento anamatisu, ekbalanta, casting out, or who was casting out, daimonia. Okay, let's take a look and see where Mounce gives you this form. If you look at page 201 in Mounce, top of the page, this is under the previous words. Do you see horao? Okay, so there's your lexical form, and then your Adon form here is given with this obviously the past tense sense of to see. All right, I mentioned wid is the real root, and the second aorist is going to use that. It's going to add an augment, and the digamma falls out. By the way, it's called digamma because the capital letter gamma looks like this. And if you take another gamma, and you lay it on top, okay, and just one of them is a little bit higher than the other, it looks like that. And, we have this letter F in English. The shape of that comes from that letter. Okay, so now, so this is going to be our second aorist form. It comes from a completely different root than horao does, but they both have to do with seeing. So we saw. Okay? This is one where you definitely want to memorize the principal parts of that. Okay. Anyone else? All right. Yeah, number 2. Okay. So here we have kai ex elthon hi mathe hoi mathetai. That's nominative, so we're looking for that to be the subject. Does that make sense given the final nu here for that verb form? Yeah, that's a third person plural. And that is what? Primary or secondary active ending if it's third plural? Yeah, that's a secondary ending. Does anything in the rest of this verb form help me along in knowing that for sure that's a secondary form that's using secondary endings? The augment. And where's the augment? It's on that eta. That's right, because this is a compound verb. What's the lexical form? Ex erchomai. Okay, it's using a completely different root for the aorist. So this is a second aorist, isn't it? So the disciples did what? Yeah, ex elthon is went out, departed. Kai elthon, and same form except it's not the compound verb anymore. And came, eistain pollen, into the city. Kai heron, there's my nu again, still the same subject, right? And they found. Is this the imperfect or the second aorist of heurisco? It's the second aorist. So just a simple past. And they found what? Well, it doesn't give me any word for the object. but you can supply it or things, kathos apen autois, and they found it as apen, ape, leg, right? As he said, autois, to them. Okay, so that's my second aorist of Lego. Third singular. Okay? In Greek, as in other languages, if it's exceptionally clear what you're talking about, sometimes you can drop pronouns and things like that, and the sense is clear enough. So I would normally want to see an overt direct object with a verb like to find, but it can be omitted as well. All right. Other questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 9. How do you translate pos et dasamen or desamen?
So, pos eti zesamen.
Yeah.
All right. What does pos mean? How? Okay, good. So let's jot that down. How? Eti?
We will.
Still.
This is still or yet. Okay. What's zesamen?
We live.
What tense is it?
Third person. Wow. Plural. First plural.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's the person. Oops, I'm doing Hebrew here. I'm writing first common plural. It is technically first common plural, but Greek doesn't mark that common. Okay, but it's future. That's the deal. Future. It's using active endings, right, and indicative. So, and this is from the verb zao, which means to live. So how will we translate this?
We live. Are we?
Make it future.
We will live.
Yeah, we will live or shall live, right? And so put that together. How still shall we live?
Okay.
En auto,
In it.
in it. And that's feminine because it's referencing,
Okay.
its reference is te hamartia, right?
Okay. I see
So,
where I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I
So
wasn't putting it in future, so I couldn't find where the will was.
yeah. That's it. So now, because it's a question, you're gonna translate this under normal circumstances something like "we shall live," but when you turn this into a question, you're gonna have to move that helping verb to the left, right?
Okay. That makes
Okay.
sense.
By the way, if you guys want to take linguistics with me, probably next spring, we'll talk about things like this. It's fun. It's almost as fun as arm wrestling before class with your students.
My elbow kind of hurts. This doesn't hurt me later.
All right. So, other questions?
What? Or number 9.
Number 9.
That first clause,
He was standing up.
or I guess the first verb.
Mm-hmm.
Could you also translate freed from sin as well as?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you were going to be asking about the hostis. I was going to say, we have a hostis situation going on here. But no. So it's whoever or we who. Yeah. Why? Because if you look at hoitenes, this is a nominative plural form, right? And apethanomen has a first person plural personal ending. So whoever the hoitenes, the whoever refers to, it's referring to a we whoever, because it's the subject of the first person plural verb. So how did you render that again?
Whoever is freed from sin.
So whoever is freed from sin. Well, I like keeping the meaning of this, what we learn as the fundamental meaning, which is dying, right? So we who have, you can say we who have died to sin, or whoever, and maybe in parentheses among us, has died to sin. how shall we still live in it? This is a difficulty with translating into English because there isn't any perfect English word-for-word equivalent where we use two English words to get across these two Greek words, right? So I know people have these ideal notions of the most literal translation and that being the best translation, but we just have to face the fact that the grammars of different languages are different because they're different languages. And you can't expect one word for word, one for one equivalence in every situation. It is true in a lot of situations you can do that, but not everyone because the grammatical structures of language are not one for one equivalent.
Do you have in this number 9? Do you have to put we who have died, or can it just be we who died to sin?
I think you could put we who died. Yeah, that's fine.
I think that's what Mounce did.
Did he just have died?
We who died.
Yeah, we who died. All right. Anything else? Yes.
On number 10, the ectone, artone.
So number 10,
Middle of the
ectone,
bottom line.
artone. Yep.
Mounce translates that as just the bread. You ate the bread.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering why you wouldn't do a more literal translation.
Yeah. So what would be your more literal translation?
From the breads.
You ate from the breads. Okay. Yeah. Is your problem with the plural of artos or with the ek not being represented the way you imagine?
Both.
It's both. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's first talk about the ek, okay? There was a guy during the Reformation named Eck. You remember Eck? He was one of Luther's nemesis. Anyhow, we're not going to talk about John Eck. We're going to talk about Greek Eck. Malcolm Eck. No. So typically we do think of Eck as having this separative or ablative notion, right, from. But there are also other uses, and what you're seeing here is what's known as the partitive sense. Okay, to eat of something means to feast on it, right? So in such cases, you could translate it to eat of or from. You could translate it as to eat some of, or simply just to eat of the loaves. And this other one, for us, bread is really not it's not a count noun, okay? We have count nouns in English where you can actually count them, and you put numbers in front of them, and you could pluralize them, right? So think water. Is water a count noun? Can you count water? No, that's a mass noun, isn't it? But I can say something like, bring me 3 waters. Okay, what has happened to the concept of water for me to put a number in front of it and then add an S to it? Yes, I've individuated the mass noun into quantities that are countable, right? And we can think of bread as a mass noun, but when you take bread and form it into loaves, then the word loaf becomes a count noun, right? And so I think your best bet, if you want to retain the plural, is to switch to loaves. And if you want to keep bread as your gloss, then you're going to have to do something with that plural and just make it singular. Okay. It's funny because we navigate this in our own language all the time, and we just never think about it. So here's my funny example of the difference between a mass noun and a count noun, okay? I'm going down the freeway on I-45. This didn't really happen. I'm just imagining this, okay? This is my sick imagination. I'm going down I-45, and I'm listening to the morning radio station, and they do the, news reports and then traffic every, 8 minutes, 10 minutes. And I hear that there is backup on I-10 because there were a bunch of stools on the freeway. Okay? What does that mean? There were a bunch of stools on the freeway.
Bar stools?
Yes. Some truck carrying bar stools lost its freight, and the bar stools were all over the freeway. On the other hand, if the traffic reporter says, avoid I-10 like the plague because there's a bunch of stool on the freeway, what's that mean? Yeah, probably a fertilizer truck or somebody disposing of human waste has lost its load. So, stool, when it refers to what comes out of the body, is a mass noun. Sort of funny to think of that. And bar stools are count nouns, aren't they? Same word, but they're different words. And one represents a mass and one represents a countable quantity. So there you go. You'll never look at stool the same way.